Welcome to a game of two halves. I'm your host, Alex, with my co-hosts, Dale and Jim. Once
Hey,
again,
hello there.
today's prize is an hour of listening to us talk about the Premier League because we have nothing else to talk about in our very, very sad lives.
Yay.
Yay! Yay!
Well, shall we start off with the first game, which I know Jim's itching to talk about? Chelsea versus West Brom. I'll just let you take the ropes here, Jim, because it's
What
long
happened?
overdue. So, I don't know. What happened, Jim? Tell us.
Nothing interesting happened in this game.
You know what, lads? Nothing really happened. I mean, it was only 7 goals. You know what I mean? Like,
7 goes to who?
I don't know. No,
It's both
it was,
teams, to be honest.
it was a bit of a madness. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you had Thiago Silva's very rusty at football. Apparently, he was out for a while and then forgot how to actually defend. I said this when it first happened. So the first yellow card is a yellow card, and the second yellow card is another yellow card. It's a red card. But I said this: he wouldn't have got sent off if he dived left or right. Like, I understand he was trying to block a shot, and it was.
Yeah.
By the way, fantastic game. It really was. Like, proper entertaining. When Chelsea went for it, it was great, and we just went for it. Like, it was an unbelievable game, and I loved it. But I can't understand Thiago Silva's. That's the first thing I want to address is Thiago Silva's thinking. Like, as a defender, like, me and Al have played in defence numerous amounts of times, and if you're trying to block a shot, you do not dive with your feet up at the player. You dive in the direction you think he's going to shoot. So he was going to try and whip it round towards the right. So why didn't he just throw his body rightwards? Like, a plank of wood that way is going to do better than a plank of wood facing you. A block. It was such an idiotic challenge, and rightly deserved a yellow card and another red card for Thiago Silva, because bit of a madhead, isn't he? But one thing I will say as well is I've been talking about Callum Robinson coming on and starting or just playing for us for ages, using his pace. It might not be the best goal scorer, prove him wrong, but he might not be the best goal scorer on a weekly basis, but his pace, his pressuring, his desire to get the ball will put so many teams under pressure and like make them panic. And I've been calling for him to play for weeks, right? And it's incredible that he comes on and scores the goals he did. He was, he was fantastic when he come on. That finish, oh my god, on let's say half volley, side foot in the back of the net. Oh my god, what a cross for a starters to pick him out. But what a beautiful cushion finish. I'm going to melt this out because Albion, a wank. But this match, we were phenomenal. Like, I'm going to eat this out for all it is and praise them because everybody was on fire. Everyone. The Pereira we know and love was back. Like, even Matty Phillips played unbelievably well. Dianya got another goal and, like, he'll get his confidence. And I tell you what, if we play the way we played against Chelsea for the rest of the season, we probably won't stay up, but we have a big fighting chance. We need to take this result, take this performance, and really push on with it. Like, really step forward with it. Use it as a stepping stone to go forward. Like, Callum Robinson has scored, 5 goals in the Premier League this season or something like that, and they're all against Chelsea. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, they're all against Chelsea. Like, what he does now, Big Sam has to sit down and think, you know what? I've messed up. He needs to start next to Dianya because it works. Them two up front, it just works. And your Cooksloo, how he's playing for us, I have no... Any Premier League club watching this, right? Anybody watching this, you lot missed a trick with your Cooksloo, and I have no idea how we've got him. All I know is that come the summer, he ain't going to be a Celta Vigo player anymore. He definitely ain't coming back to us. We're talking a top half Premier League side. He's picking him up and he is going to destroy the league because he's one hell of a player. The thing is, the frustrating thing is, right, we're not going to stay up. We're going to go down. We'll give it... I hope we give it a go. But come the summer, we're going to lose everyone. Literally everyone. Pereira's going to go. Robinson is definitely going to go. Diagne won't stick around. He'll go back to Galatasaray. Your Cuxley will get picked up. Maitland-Niles is back at Arsenal. Snodgrass ain't going to stay around. He's too good for us. Johnston's definitely gone. Bartley's put in a good performance in the second half of the season to warrant a purchase. Jay's definitely not staying around because he's too good for us. And you're just like, Conor Gallagher's going to go back to Chelsea and then get back loaned out because that's what they do. They hold on to the value of the player for some reason. And it's just like, our squad's going to be in complete tatters. We're going to go back to a midfield of Livermore and Sawyers. So rip the midfield with Matty Phillips in the right mid. Darnell Furlong's going to stay. We're going to have a back four of Darnell Furlong, Connor Townsend, Branislav Ivanovic, who's on his last knees, let alone legs, and then Dara O'Shea, who's a defender that can't defend. Like the purchases we've made in January are finally starting to click. I feel it's too little too late, but that performance is how we should have been playing for the entire of the season and since January. That is exactly how we should have played.
Well,
I can breathe now.
That was an interesting analysis of the game, but I've got a couple questions for you, Jim.
Yeah.
So obviously Chelsea went 1-0 up with Pulisic, and then Silva they got sent off. Do you reckon if Silva stayed on, would you have won that game? Yes or no?
I don't think we would have won personally. I think the sending off did help. It really did. It's 10 against 11. It's always going to help, but I don't think we would have lost. Because we started very, very good. Like, obviously, I didn't watch the entire game from the start, but I did want to watch it because we played so well. So I went back and watched the entirety of the match, and we started so bright. Even with 11 versus 11, the pressing, the intensity, the desire to get the ball against Chelsea and to really push them. I don't think we would have lost, but I don't think we would have won. I think we still would have scored. It wouldn't have mattered if we would have gone down to 10 versus 10. Like, we would have drew, and the extra man did severely help us. But with the way Pereira was firing, the way Diagne was just bullying their defence, and even Matty Phillips, I'm one of the one of the people that hate Matt Phillips now because he's lost all his pace, and he was a pace merchant, but he played exceptional. He really did, and I've got to give him props for it. And it's just one of those things, like, I still don't think we would have lost, but the extra man did help us winning. Yeah. But Pulisic's goal, by the way, was a good goal. It was
off the free kick, was it? Yeah. Alonso hit the free kick and it rebounded.
It was a good goal. He knew where to be. He used his pace to get into the space and tap it in and everything.
That's his first Premier League goal of the season, or first or second?
Something like that. And to be fair, Marcus Alonso hitting the post. The man's dangerous from any set piece, so...
I do want to bring up as well, because obviously we spoke about in our last chat in the England podcast, about Sam Johnston using his feet.
Yeah.
He played a ping of a ball with under pressure to Pereira, and Pereira scored from it.
That was not a ball. He hoofed it.
No, it was a ball.
It was not a pass.
It was a pass.
It was not a pass. It would go down as a pass because Pereira got on the end of it, but he did not pass that ball. He's just hoofed it.
Majority of the keepers did that as well.
Majority of the keepers do it, but he didn't mean it. He just hoofed it.
It was
not a specific pass.
I will say, he weren't looking for Pereira. He was looking for Diagne, because Diagne's good in the air. He definitely weren't
someone to nod it on. He wasn't looking to have a ball over the back of the fence.
He weren't specifically looking for Pereira, but the way Chelsea stepped up and Pereira just found the space. I mean, again, if you Edouard Mendy, you got to look at yourself in a bit, because you got to look and be like, bro, I've been chipped twice in one match.
100%.
I mean, the Pereira chip...
Mendy was quite awful that game. I didn't...
I mean, the Pereira chip was an obvious one. Like, he's through on goal, Mendy's come halfway, Pereira's got to the ball first. He was always going to chip him, it was always going to go in. Like, that was the unobvious one. But to get chipped by Callum Robinson in that... in
91st minute.
Yeah, but, like, not in the 91st minute, like, on the angle, nothing much really going, like... Callum Robinson chipping here is a bit. He did go down, and he was protecting his near post, which I can understand. But I think he didn't need to go that far down to. Like, it weren't a high chip. That's the thing. Like, Edward Mendy was on the floor. Like,
yeah. But also, Sam Johnson has also made the most saves this season.
Yeah,
in the Premier League.
He's had the most shots.
I was going to say, bro, I'd play against our defence and Pepper than Sam Johnston if I could.
No, but that's positive.
But it's good. It is good because it's showing he's a very good goalkeeper, and he's really.
He's a good shot stopper, but you're never going to have that kind of like stat with the better keepers in the league.
Yeah, because you get better.
They'll have no chance of getting anywhere near that kind of leaderboard, so I don't really take that as.
Yeah, but the thing is, when I do, because when Wolves went down, Wayne Hennessy had also at that time had the most Premier League saves.
I mean,
in the
exactly,
league.
And they went down because they had the most shots against him.
But the thing is that Wayne Hennessy was a quality keeper, and so
I will say,
Sam Johnson's all the keepers are quality. Like, you have to be quality to be in this league.
I will say, it's a surprising stat given Fulham's form, Newcastle's form, and Sheffield United. I mean, Sheffield United have got Ramsdale in goal.
I know, but Newcastle rotate their keepers.
I know. That's what I mean. It's just a very interesting stat to see that Sam Johnson is the top of the list when there is Fulham, Newcastle, and Sheffield United all around that space that we've faced essentially the most shots and still kind of above Sheffield United because for some reason we can score.
To be fair, I thought like Kasper Schmeichel might have been up there or something like that. To be honest,
I mean, Schmeichel is undoubtedly a good goalkeeper, but again, like Johnston, see, in the Championship, I was his biggest critic. Like I called him.
Same, even I said he was horrible in the Championship.
I called him the flapper. I said he couldn't kick. Like any cross into the box, he was. Put it this way, it's a perfect example when we played Spurs. All he had to do was either commit to catching the ball, which he would have, or stayed in his goal, and he would have saved that Harry Kane goal, and we would have earned a point.
100%.
And we would have earned a really solid point away at Spurs, but because he was so indecisive, because it was a cross, that was his issue. Whereas, obviously that must have hurt because everybody hounded him for it, really give him some shit for that, and I think he used it and kicked on and really focused on coming to collect crosses and everything, because since then he hasn't been the flapper that we know. Like crosses come in and he kind of commands his area. He does better. Like he actually controls the box, and that for me, when we had Ben Foster, God, he was so good at that. Good at that. Any ball come in, bro, he had it. It was his or no one's. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he would attack the shit out of that ball if it was coming in for a cross.
Well, I do have a couple more things as well because I want to try and.
We'll move on.
But, I got a couple more things. I don't know if you know, that was your first win at Stamford Bridge in 45 years.
I know, and we've come close a few times, but keep scuffing it.
And also, Sam Allardyce is the first manager to win at Stamford Bridge with 3 different clubs: Bolton, Crystal Palace, and now West Ham.
What a stat! Bro, can we just play in London every week? Like, it seems to be we're really good away from home in London. Just don't let us come home. Don't let us do anything. Like, it was... see, we should have... Ironically, we should have beat them when we first played them, and we went 3-0 up, and then we capitulated. Chelsea picked up their game, and they scored 3 goals. Not to say that Chelsea were bad, and then we were bad. We weren't bad. It's just Chelsea really did pick up their game. He brought the kids on that they were trusted to use, and they come and scored 3 very decent goals to bring it back to 3-3 for full time. And Lampard saw that Thiago Silva was having a bad game again, like before we just played him, and took him off early. And that's kind of sorted out the issue, even though he got bullied anyway. And that's what I mean, like... We just capitulated, so we should have really beat them twice this season, and those extra 3 points would have been... But it's all fine margins for us. We capitulated against Chelsea. We gave 3 goals away. Like, they were good 3 goals, but we still capitulated. You got to see it a 3-0 win. It's a point gained, but theoretically it's 2 points lost.
2 points lost,
yeah. Yeah, but because you're in a 3-0 position. And the same with the Spurs game, like, we was in control, like, we were defending it, we were doing really well, and then Sam Johnson obviously didn't come and collect the ball, and that cost us another point. So effectively, we're 3 points short of where we should be, because you get an extra point and then an extra 2 points for the Chelsea game. So we're 3 points off where we should be, because we just can't finish off games, and we can't control games, and defensively we have been poor. But I felt more comfortable now, but I think it's because I'm not expecting anything, because I've come to the fact that we are going down and it is over, the Premier League run.
You're going down with a fight, that's the positive.
But that's what I said. I said if we play like that and we still go down, at least we've gone down with a real fight. Not the fight that we was going to put up before.
Not the Sheffield United fight. They've given up now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They've really given up. And at least if we play the way we have played and we give it some, we're going down with a real force. And we can. But I feel like if we play the way we have, we'll make Fulham panic, because they've got to really step up their game, because then we're going to be hot on their tails. And then Newcastle, them wank, so they're going to be panicking. And then you got all the other clubs just above them, that we're making a real late push in the last 7 games to really go for it. And it's exciting. And I love the fact that I love Haiti. I hate the fact that we've left it so late to perform. But I love the fact that it's going to be a late run and all the drama's going to be at the end of the season. And that's what I love. Everybody loves end of the season drama, let's be honest.
100%. And also the last game of the season is Newcastle Fulham, which is going to be a good game to watch. I can't wait to talk about that game.
If it goes down to that game, that will be the most nerve-wracking game ever, because that will be make or break relegation game. That will be
100%.
Even if we're not involved, that's Newcastle Fulham doing this for the last 7 games of the season, just swapping positions.
100%. Right, let's move on after Jim's very long talk about West Brom and Chelsea. We'll move on to Leicester Man City. Man City won 2-0. Leicester just didn't seem like themselves, especially Vardy. Vardy was always giving offside, not making them run proper.
I got a question for you about this game, actually, because you mentioned it. You literally took it out of my brain. When it comes to Vardy, does he need a rest?
He's had a rest. If you think about it, he was injured.
I know, but I mean, you say he had a rest. Like, when you're injured, it's hard because you want to get back. It's not your fault. Like, you're injured and you're eager to get back, and then he's come back and kind of not his pace, but like kind of slowed down a bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's still scoring, obviously, but like some of the chances he's missing are a bit oof. Do you think?
Yeah, like the one against Manchester United.
Yeah, you know. And do you think he is trying too hard now to come back and score and be the goal scorer that we know he is?
I think he's fearful because Iheanacho has obviously signed a new contract at Leicester.
Yeah.
Iheanacho, obviously, he didn't perform against Man City, but Iheanacho has been performing in recent weeks, as we've all known. And I think he's probably fearful for his position now, even though they do play in the same team, like Iheanacho plays behind him. But
he knows in his heart of hearts, Iheanacho knows in his heart of hearts that when Maddison's back, he's not playing there. And that's the thing. With Iheanacho playing the way he is, if Iheanacho gets moved forward and Maddison
plays behind him,
it's still. I think if Iheanacho can adapt his game into how he's playing as number 10 and move it up into striker, it really is a headache, let's say, for Brendan Rodgers. Because if Iheanacho just hits form and just pumps out goals, pumps out assists, you know what I mean? You've got to sit there and be like, well, do I play Vardy now? Do you put your main goal scorer on the bench for somebody who is becoming a main goal scorer? I mean, it might be unlikely. It might not suit it again. It might struggle. It might turn into a bench warmer again. But at the same time, at that token, you got to think Ayoze Perez as well. Like, he can play up front as well as on the wing. Like, bearing in mind Vardy's, 32?
Yeah, I think it's 32.
32. So he's literally entering the twilight years of his career. He ain't going to keep his pace forever. He will start to slow down.
Yeah.
Do you? This is what I mean. Do you think he needs a rest to just
I don't think he needs a rest because
like a
if
week?
we
I'm not talking like a month off or something. I'm talking like a week, maybe a week and a half to just
because
pull
obviously we're
himself
coming
together.
into the penultimate of the season, so there's only like what 7 or 8 games left, depending on each club. And to be fair, some have got 9, like Aston Villa and Everton, but there's only a handful of games left. It's ending in a month and a half's time anyway, the Premier League, unless they do delay it for a week so all the fans can come in. So it might be like for nearly 2 months, but kinda because it
Yeah.
might end in the June maybe. But now I do think they should continue to play him because he ain't going to be at the Euros this summer, so he'll have his rest then. If you think about it, and it's only like a month for a bit of playing. And if he does get injured between then and the end of the season, he'll have a full rest then while he'll be completely out.
What I'm saying is like, I'll put it to you. If go back a couple of years and you've got Van Persie and you've got Rooney, they're both playing up front, but your attacking midfielder is outplaying them both, right? So you bench Van Persie because you know Rooney's your main goal scorer, let's say, but he ain't performing. You've got 7 games to win the league. You're just ahead, not just ahead. We're talking 2 points ahead. But Rooney ain't scoring. You're starting not to quite perform, but everybody else is carrying him. Would you swap Rooney out for Van Persie until Rooney starts scoring again?
No, I'd find a way to play them both.
But if Rooney's not performing, but your attacking mid is seriously performing, like Iheanacho or Perez or James Maddison, like if your attacking mid is like supplying Rooney with stuff, and he's just not finishing it at all. We're talking 2-3 games. He's just not finishing his dinner. He's really struggling to score goals. Would you take him out and just be like, have a week off? We're going to play somebody else. Just get your mental game back. Do it in training. Keep going. Work hard, and then we'll see when you come back.
I'm saying no because that would in the mentality that you have when you're at this kind of high level, that would do more damage than good. In my opinion,
I don't know because
resting them isn't going to get someone out of a funk in football. It's just not. It's just going to eat them away. Like you need to keep playing them, and they'll play their way out of the funk. In my opinion. Saying, for example, Vardy saying you need a rest for a week ain't going to work for him, especially with his attitude and mentality behind it. He's going to want to keep playing and score him.
You pick and choose.
I don't think it had anything to do with him having a rest.
I'd say you pick and choose a player. Like if somebody was to come up to me and say, "Oh, I'm going to rest you. You're not playing very well," that'd hurt me. But if they come up and said, "Oh, like you just what's happened to your passing? Like, come on, like work on it," I'd then be like, "Okay, I just need to get my head back in the game and blah blah blah, and you need to play at the funk." I just like if they bench me and then I was because my passing weren't its usual self. I'd be like, okay, that's fine, that's chill. I'll work on it in training. I'll get my head back in the game, and then I know I've got a week off to watch, and then it can work both ways. So then I could be sat on the bench, and I can come on. We're not doing very well. The passing ain't quite right. I can come on and then ping a 60-yard pass to the winger who's clean open and through, and then that just whoop, and then you like see what you can do. Like, see, look what happens when you take me out the team, kind of thing. But then that boosts me, and secretly that's what the manager wants. So for me, if he benches Vardy, brings him on when they're drawing, or say they're losing, and he equalises and scores a winner, that's a whole thing of Vardy going, see, dickhead, you shouldn't have benched me.
But at the same time, if he isn't performing and you've benched him, why would you bring him on when you have other players that can come on in that position?
Yeah, but what? So he's still your main goal scorer. But say Iheanacho is up front and he's not doing very well, you just take Iheanacho off and bring Vardy on, and then if Vardy scores,
wouldn't that ruin Iheanacho's form? Because he's the one who's in form. He's having one bad game, and the other strikers hasn't been in good form the last 5 or 6 games. Why would you do that kind of switch?
Well,
when
you wouldn't
one
say
you
wouldn't say, "Oh, I'm taking Iheanacho off because he's having a bad game." You'd wait.
That's what you just said.
You wouldn't say, "Oh, 55th minute, get him off his shit and bring Vardy on." You just say, "55th minute, I need to do something different. Come off." That's all you'd say.
But why would? Yeah, but in that situation, he's having a bad game. But why would you take off one player having one bad game over and bring him on for someone who hasn't performed in months?
Because she's still going to try and get some kind of form out of both of them. If he's not performing, and then you bring on your sub-striker who usually would perform, who's not performing, and then comes on and performs just as bad, you still haven't lost. You haven't lost anything because they're both performing bad. But if he comes on and starts scoring...
It comes to mentality in that situation. Like that one striker who, say, Iheanacho, for example, he's performing really well this last month, and Vardy hasn't performed that last month.
Yeah.
In a situation where Iheanacho's had one bad 60 minutes and you take him off, like he's gonna be annoyed because he's been the one in form. He wants that last half hour to prove that he can win the game.
Yeah, but if
the mentality comes into it, you need to manage it correctly, and I don't think that's like doing it that way is going to be the correct way.
But how many players do get taken off when they're playing bad, even though they're the best player on the pitch? I've seen. Let's just go to Man City.
That's different. If they're the best player on the pitch and they're taken off, that's in a different mentality. If someone's the best player on the pitch and you take them off because you're chasing a result, that's the wrong thing to do. That never happens.
No.
They usually take a good player off if they need the rest.
So take De Bruyne, usually perfectly fine player, whips balls in, perfectly fine. But a couple of weeks ago, he was literally the worst player on Man City's pitch. So he took him off to bring somebody else on, and it changed the game altogether. And that's the thing. But you didn't harm him mentally because he knows he's that good and he should have performed better. Whereas it's the same thing. So if Iheanacho's on the pitch and he's performing bad, he knows he can perform better. And he knows he should have. And Vardy can come on and use that stigma to prove that he's the striker that he can be. That's how you use it. You wouldn't go take him off his shit, you wank. You need a rest because you've been shit, you wank. You'd go, you're not playing your best.
Yeah, you're never going to say that, but like that's the case. No manager's going to say I'm taking you off because you're shit. Yeah, that's just not the case.
Yeah, but if you're chasing a result and your striker's not doing something right, and he's not putting away chances, or if he's not putting away chances, but there's a lot of chances, you may want to keep him on. But if they're not finding space, they're not finding chances, they're not doing this, they're not doing that, you're obviously going to take them off and bring on another striker because it's like, well, it ain't working, so we got to change it up. This just ain't your game. It's like
the long and short of it is, and it's from the question you asked, I don't think Vardy needs the rest. I think you just keep playing him through. Because this has gone on for a very long time now.
Yeah, I know.
I think I agree with Alex just keeping Vardy on, but I do see your reasoning as if a player's not getting the goals, bench him, and then bring him on. Sub.
Yeah,
that's because I'd say to him before the game, you haven't been performing, so I'm not going to start you this game, but I'm going to put you on the bench, and you might be able to come on the field later and make an impact, but I'm not going to start you. I'm going to give someone else a start and see how they do. So I do see. I see both, but I agree with Alex that I wouldn't bench Vardy anyway because he still gives that thing for a team because
he's still that good.
But if he's not getting the goals, which we know he should be getting, someone else could have an opportunity, like i.e. have Iheanacho there and Maddison behind him, then I'd bench Vardy and then. But I wouldn't give him like a full rest. Like I'm putting him with the reserves. Like,
100% no, because he's still your main striker.
Yeah,
he's still your main striker. You can't afford to not have him in the starting lineup at all. You still got to put him on the bench. But I think the way it works is that way.
Let's just move on now.
Yeah. Also, because obviously we spoke about that. I just want to talk about City because City was amazing and dominant in that game. Mendy's goal. Absolutely did the defender. Striker's fake shot. And he needed that, I think, because I feel sorry. He moved to Man City, wanted big hopes, is injury prone, and I do feel sorry for the chap because he's actually a quality left back, to be honest, and he just hasn't had his chance to prove it. And
I think he's gonna now. I think he will step on from this and nail down a spot. He'll be the Mendy that they went and bought from Monaco. I think he'll go. This is it now. This is it. And I really want him to do well.
The thing is, though, he's been doing it constantly. Where he has like a month or two good spell, and then he just tails off every single time. When he first came, he was awesome because his crosses were like something unlike the Premier League had ever had before, and the way he whips them like fantastically well across the box. But he's very inconsistent. I mean, would you risk that inconsistency?
I mean, relatively, if you're going to play Walker at right back and Cancelo at left back, I mean, I don't see why not. But you have to. Cancelo's best position is literally right back. You can't not play Cancelo. He's just
they've got Zinchenko at left back, who's been performing.
That's what I mean.
For no reason he should be dropped.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like, you've got a headache with Zinchenko, which apparently can play attacking midfielder as well.
Exactly, it's a good headache.
Yeah, but it is a good headache, and it's the same with the headache for centre back. I have no idea how he's going to fight that. No, one of those centre backs who doesn't play, they're fuming, because I'd be. If I was John Stones, Diaz, or Laporte, I'd be fuming if I got dropped. Either one of them.
Yeah,
you'd just be mad because you're like, well,
Magic getting dropped for Garcia, I'd be even more mad.
Well, Laporte's he's world class. Laporte he is just unreal centre back. And it's unfortunate how much he's been injured, but that Diaz is showing his class. John Stones is showing the centre back that we all thought he could be. And how do you sit there the night before on a like Friday night football or Saturday football or Sunday or Monday, wherever your game is? How do you sit the night before and go, I gotta pick one of these to not play?
Well, for me, it'd be Ruben Diaz and John Stones start every game.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
When you have a partnership that's like
working. Yeah,
I can't think of the word I'm after, but like just blossomed. A partnership that blossomed as well as theirs have. You can't change it.
Yeah.
100%.
Who think about it, John Stones and Laporte had games last season.
I will say who surprised me the most. Well, I wouldn't say surprised me the most. I'd say surprised me is Fernandinho coming back into starting lineup with the way Rodri and Gundogan has been playing, with how them pair have been playing, to come in and be like, yeah, I'm still the best defensive midfielder here. Don't worry about that, son. And you're like you sit and look at Man City's squad, and when they are like this and everyone is in crazy form, you sit there and be like, how does Guardiola stand in that dressing room and go, you're not playing today? How does he stand there and go, you're on the bench, lad, today? Even though last week you come on for 30 minutes, scored an hat-trick, did 4 players and then assisted one. Even the centre-backs. Like, how does he stand there?
The name of the game. It's the name of the game, bro.
It's mental. Like, personally, it'd be so difficult. He must have the best headache ever. The best headache.
100%. But I just wanted to say as well that Jesus has scored 5 goals out of 5 goals against Leicester in 6 games. So he loves scoring against Leicester.
Also, he scored a lot recently, and it's ironic because when we mention him on this podcast, what do we say, lads?
Yeah, I know.
It's wank.
100%, bro.
What did we say about Iheanacho before he started scoring?
He's wank. What do we say about Sam Johnston? Can't pass it at the back and does an amazing ping. Like every time. It is for me, Al. It is for me.
I've never seen us.
I swear, literally. They go, have you had a game of 2 halves this week? Because literally they're just chatting shit about you, and they go, all right, then I'll prove them wrong next week.
It's crazy how we've mentioned all these players and we've called them wank, and they've just started performing out of nowhere.
Let's move on to the next game because we've spent so long on 2 games.
One last thing about City, we'll talk about it at some point, probably in another podcast. But obviously, the news that Aguero is leaving at the end of the season.
Yeah,
and that is getting a statue as well.
Hands down, that statue will be the shirt spin.
It's something we'll bring up when we do another recording, because I want to have a talk about it, because I want to talk about who City get in to replace him, because Guardiola's come out and said they aren't going to have the money to buy another striker.
Which I think is lies.
But we'll talk about
that. We'll have
I just want to
we'll have a transfer talk day. We'll have
put like a little flavour in there for the next time.
For the seasoning.
Yeah. I'll just plant it there.
So the next game, Arsenal and Liverpool. Not much to say about the first half. Dead, boring, bland. It is what it is.
This is. I said Liverpool would finish top 4. This second half performance especially is proving me right.
Yeah, I also said that they'd finish top 4.
I know. I actually said they finished 3rd, but we don't know about that yet.
I said 4th, so.
But I said all it takes for Liverpool is to get a couple of players back from injury, and they'll be fine.
And do you know who?
They've got a centre-back partnership at the moment in Kazak Phillips, which is not magnificent. Let's be honest. It's like that. It's like that picture you have of like the Maserati at the front and like the Ford Focus at the back. That's what it is. But all they've had to do is get that partnership, put Thiago and Fabinho, because Fabinho's come back, Jota's come back, which gives them the other option they've needed.
Yeah, like the Firmino. Yeah, 100%.
And it shows. Like, against Arsenal, they probably weren't even that great, but their second half was more like it. More like the Liverpool we used to last season.
I've got a question for you guys. So Jota scored twice that game, right? 3-0 win for Liverpool. But I've got like some stats here. So Jota's played 22 games this season. This is all competitions, by the way. He scored 12 goals and made one assist.
Yeah.
Obviously, Salah and Mane, I'm going to exclude them because it's Salah and Mane. You're going to play them anyway. But I'm going to point out Firmino. They've actually made the same goal contributions, but Firmino's played 38 games, scored 6 and assisted 7. So he's played 16 games more, and he's had the same goal contributions as Diego Jota.
I think
it's unfair. I think it's unfair to compare the two because every time Jota's been in the team from when he got injured, because obviously when Jota got injured, that's when everyone got injured in Liverpool's team.
Yeah.
So like Fabinho got injured, Henderson is now injured and stuff like that. Jota's played well when he's had that midfield there. When Firmino's playing, and he's played all season, that midfield hasn't been there. He hasn't been able to perform with the same team that Jota has in that situation. And Firmino and Jota, the role they play is completely different as well. And we all know that. Firmino's role is very unique.
Yeah, but would you compare Jota, put him in striker instead of Firmino? Obviously, I know Firmino has more of a...
If I had the choice, I'd play them both and put them in different situations, which is something he has done before, and play it as a front four. Because when Klopp first came in...
Like a 4-2-4, basically.
When Klopp first came in, he had that 4 in Firmino, Coutinho, Mane and Salah.
Yeah.
And there was got a good front 4 again, taking Coutinho out and putting Jota in. Obviously, Jota... At the if you were to compare him and Coutinho at Liverpool, he's nowhere near Coutinho's level at the moment, but he's going to get there.
Exactly, and it's his first season at Liverpool. So
having that front 4 is like fantastic. I saw a video from Tifo a while ago when Jota first came this season. They were scoring loads of goals, and like if you play all 4 of them in the same team, like Firmino can still play. He's like centre forward, false 9, whatever you want to call it, deep line forward. And coming back, and that creates so much more space for Jota to play up top.
Yeah.
And then when you put Jota there, or you put Jota out on the wing, or put Salah on top, or something like that, the movement between the front 4 is going to be a nightmare for any single defense in the league. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So if it were up to me, I wouldn't drop Firmino. I'd play them both, but it's getting that right system because God knows how Klopp would do that. But if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be him. He's going to get the best out of him one way or another. Because that's what he does. That's what he does everywhere he's gone.
That's all I literally wanted to talk about on that, really. Because obviously, anyone quickly, briefly talk about it. When
it comes to Firmino, I always have like a little soft spot for him because I always pick him in my fantasy team because he just every single season pick him because he's cheap enough and I get goals and assists all the time. Man, like set it alight with him that he gets, but he does the job. But he does, like I said,
he has the quality. You've seen him, like he does fancy passes.
Like I said, if it were up to me, I'd play them both, but you just have to wait and see.
But obviously,
when midfielders come back from injury, you got to play the 4-3-3 because that's the system they all know.
Yeah, 100%.
So got to go from there. Unless you want to put Jota in the midfield 3 or Firmino in midfield 3 and just push him up a bit more.
We'll have to wait and see, won't we? But let's move on to the next game: Leeds versus Sheffield United.
I don't have much to say about this. I did watch it, but I didn't have much.
Me and you are the same. I didn't quite enjoy it either.
Obviously, I watched it a match of the day, and obviously they do show the highlights. But from the highlights, it looked very entertaining. There was a lot of shots, a lot of chances. Sheffield probably should have scored more than 1. Leeds should have scored more than 2. Like Rafinha probably should have got a goal or 2. So it was a very interesting game, but I do feel sorry for Jagielka. He scored another own goal. It's his 7th own goal of his career, believe it or not. So
man needs to educate himself on what goal to score in, man. You scoring 7 own goals in your career. That's bad. But yeah.
But yeah, so
I don't know. It was
a playing game at the end of the day. The results speak for itself.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know how I talk about Man United and how I say like they did, when you watch them, sometimes they just don't look threatening, even though they are threatening. You just like, just look like that. For anybody listening on Spotify, I just pulled the most dullest face I could pull. I just realised they can't see my face, but I just feel like that game was very dull. Even though we'd had a lot of chances, I just didn't feel like excited about it. Even though, oh god, mate, Rafinha's red hot, isn't he? You know what I mean? Rafinha.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
If he stays at Leeds next year, I will be uber surprised. Like, it's not even like a one-season wonder.
Because I think what the long-term plans is for Leeds.
Top 4. That's what they're probably.
I think they could say top 4, but I don't think they'll get top 4. I think Europe, like 6th place, 5th place, would be a solid spot for them, in my opinion. And so keeping players like Rafinha, your Bamfords, you know what I mean, your Jack Harrisons and stuff like that, and your Calvin Phillips. Even though Calvin Phillips hasn't scored all season, hasn't scored a single goal, it would be crucial for Leeds to keep those players. And obviously, it's fair. You could see Rafinha going to Man City and literally tearing it up, and you could literally convert him to a left winger, and Sterling could then be out of a position.
It's like but think about Rafinha. What I see in him is very similar to if Man City, for example, I see Rafinha very similar to what they did with Mahrez. They seem like a very, very similar player. Obviously, you wouldn't have both of them in the same team because they're very, very similar.
The thing is that you could play Mahrez on the right and on the left.
Exactly, but you can see it happening because of how the kind of player he is.
Yeah, literally.
So skillful.
I think out of all the players to keep, I think he's the one they need to keep because that was an absolute steal to get him.
I think what we should do is have a really interesting talk, like a podcast like a day, about break down some teams, break down players who should leave.
Transfer talk.
Yeah, 100%.
At the end of the season, I'll go for it.
You know what though? How bright does Brazil's future wingers look, bro? Vinicius Junior on the left, Rafinha on the right.
But Junior ain't been crazy. You know what I mean?
He's still playing. He's still doing well. At Real Madrid, bearing in mind this is Rafinha for Leeds, you've got Vinicius Junior for Real Madrid.
I think if Rafinha was playing for Real Madrid, Rafinha would tear it up.
Vinicius Junior still does tear it up. I mean, he ain't got the stats to carry that. But to be fair, what are you going to do when Benzema's telling all the players not to pass to you?
Well, if you watch Vinicius Junior, I know we're going off topic again, but Vinicius Junior against Liverpool in the Champions League was unreal.
Yeah,
he was so good.
That's why that's why I've brought it up, because Vinicius Junior really did bully Trent.
Well, I don't want to get onto Trent. That was horrible.
Yeah. I won't say he bullied him, but with the role that Trent plays, he gave him a headache because the way Liverpool normally play, Trent doesn't have that much of a defensive job to play. Yeah. I mean, he has a defensive job to play, but not massively. It's not the main part of the game. But because Vinicius was so quick, Vinicius could sit back and mark where Trent would be, and then Trent had no answers for his pace
and skill.
But anyway, I digress.
But okay. But moving so that was the result for Leeds and Sheffield. Next game is Southampton-Burnley. A very interesting game again.
So I didn't see this one, but I know that Burnley squandered a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, there was 2-0 up, and Southampton was like, we'll just turn it on. And some great goals from Armstrong and Ings, absolute bangers, quality. To be fair, Southampton literally were all over him.
My question was going to be, who do you think they'll lose 9-0 to next season to kick their fucking season?
I'm thinking probably Man City.
Us.
You're not going to be there. Don't try that.
Please. Relegated.
I can't believe.
But
It'd probably be some stupid team they lose 9-0 to, like Everton.
The Southampton, the Danny Ings score again.
Yeah.
Scored twice, didn't he?
Yeah, he scored once. Again.
Scored once. Yeah. Again, another option for the Euros that we didn't even think of when we were making those things.
You can't ignore it, can you? You
literally he's scoring goals. He's scoring lots of goals.
Man City's radar. If Man City are really considering him to get him on a free. It is a free.
Can you imagine Danny Ings going from?
I'll give you a free.
Oh my God! Imagine Danny Ings going from Burnley to Liverpool to Southampton to Man City. What kind of a CV is that?
Well, he deserved more time at Liverpool. He had a massive injury at Liverpool.
100%.
And then when he came back from his injury, that was when the front three was undroppable.
Yeah.
So I felt really bad for him. And Origi was obviously the best backup in Liverpool's history because he was.
Literally.
I felt really bad for him at Liverpool, but
it's just like Shaqiri's CV. If you flip it backwards, it's the perfect CV. But it's the way it's forwards.
Obviously, that game, Southampton and Burnley, great game. But I do want to move on to the next game because I've got a question for you guys.
It's fun.
So Newcastle 2, Spurs 2. Kane bagging 2 goals in the 30th and the 34th minute. Is Kane the best player in the Premier League? I'm going to read out these stats, so bear with me a sec. So, he scored 19 goals, which is first in the league. He's had 13 assists, first in the league. He's had 109 shots, first in the league. And he's had 42 shots on target, which is first in the league. So is Kane the best player in the league at the moment?
Best striker.
Without answering your question, I'm going to give you a politician answer here and not answer the question directly. What I'm going to say was, if you give all those stats, it shows, considering at the start of the season that Spurs were going to be like massive title contenders and they were looking like it, they were top of the league at one point, it shows how poor they have been.
Yeah.
Harry Kane is top in the league as their talisman, as their striker, in all of these stats, and they're still nowhere near top 4.
But yeah, okay, I understand that. But also, he's got 13 assists.
That's what I'm saying. The fact that he's number 1 in goals, he's number 1 in assists. The fact that he's number 1 in assists and goals is mad for a striker.
Yeah,
that's unheard of. Like completely unheard of.
It is.
Like, and that's what I was going to say. It shows how poor the Spurs team are because, like, where else does that creativity come from? Like, Son was there for ages and he's still getting all the assists in, but especially when we were like watching them a few weeks ago and they had Bale, Moura, Son, and Kane on all cylinders. What's happened?
I don't know.
Why is Kane? Why is he in a situation there where we're again in this situation where Kane is dragging this team up from its balls, basically?
And I do feel sorry for Kane because
if you look at the stats and you talk about the stats, by the way, yes, stats-wise, he's by far the best player in the league because that's just the way he is. But I don't know. It's mad.
Obviously, everyone's got different ideas of who the best players in the league would be.
Go on, say his name. I know exactly who's coming out of your mouth. Go on, say it. Say it.
No, okay, right. So, looking at the stats, right? Yeah. For me, obviously, for the best Manchester United player is Bruno Fernandes. Right. And Jim knew I was going to say Bruno Fernandes. But Bruno Fernandes hasn't been the same for the past 2 months. He's been inconsistent.
Yeah.
He hasn't been a consistent player. For the past 2 months, he's been a very inconsistent player, which is unheard of for Bruno Fernandes. What we're seeing for a year, for a span of a year, very consistent Bruno.
Well, 6 months when he was first there in January. Like last year.
His first game was February, so...
That's what I mean, but like last year.
I don't know. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like say it's a
year on from when you signed him, his stats are still very, very good.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But for the performances he put in for, let's say, 8 months, for 8 to 10 months, the performances he put in was unreal. And then the last 2 months, it's kind of like it looks like he's kind of run out of steam, and he's like, lads, can you do?
I know he got a goal tonight against Granada. Like, obviously it's a penalty. You know what I mean? Another penalty to add to the list of penalties. It's an awful penalty, yeah. But like,
I
could probably say the only person who could probably, I don't know who would be second place behind Kane.
Gundogan.
This season, definitely Gundogan. But if you're talking about It's a difficult question to put in second place because there's so many options.
Yeah, there is.
Like if you talk about stats alone, then you'll obviously have Kane at number one, but then you've also got the likes of Salah, who isn't having a great season, but his stats are still really fucking good.
Yeah, 100%.
Like everyone will sit there and go, Salah's not having a great season, but he's still the second top scorer, like 17, 18 goals.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say, if it was the Albion, he's having an exceptional season. Thank you very much.
What I was going to say was like, all it takes if like he's not having a great season, but he's still there. Like that itself is a world class quality.
Yeah.
And
so it's a good question to put him to. I was going to mention De Bruyne now because De Bruyne obviously plays a different role, and he's world class in that position. He's the best in the position he plays, like in the world.
Yeah, 100%.
So you got to talk about it. It's
I think I give Kane one season, one more trophyless season with Spurs, and he will.
I think he'll go in the summer. But that's the question for like transfer talk.
Really?
Yeah. I think he should go.
Just a quick. The only reason, I'll talk about it now, but we'll mention. We'll go into a lot more. The only reason I don't see him going in the summer, the only reason I think he should go in the summer personally.
Oh,
the only reason I don't see him going is because of COVID. There's no money. That's the only reason I see it. And Daniel Levy, obviously the Tottenham.
He'll want a huge
stickler. He's an absolute stickler for money. Like if he doesn't get the money he thinks he's going to get, he isn't going to do the deal.
I think he'll want 150 million. He'll want 150 million minimum.
Yeah. He'll want at least 100, especially. But even then, he'll look at an offer and go 100 million, and he'll be like, "Is that it?" He's like the best player in our team. We want more than that.
He's been consistent for 5-6 years. Like
he's been consistent. He's been consistent for 6 years. He's obviously their best player. He's on like a 5-year contract or something like that. He's on a massive contract.
Huge
wage. He ain't gonna let him go for anything less than 100.
Yeah.
But that's the only reason I don't see him going because not many teams have that kind of money. The only team having that kind of money is Man United because they've got stacks in reserves.
That's what I mean. That's the thing for me. Like Harry Kane, like he's just been consistent, and the amount of years he's dragged the team to certain situations, and like obviously like there has been help along the way, but how many seasons has he been there? There or there about the top goal scorer, there or there about the top assister, and Spurs just still haven't won anything. And there comes a time where you sit there and go, "Yeah, I love the club. It's in my heart, but I need silverware. I need a medal of some kind."
Is, like Tottenham fans will sit here and say, obviously without sounding like an arsehole about it, but they're obviously in the final of a cup competition this year. Yeah. But it's the Carabao Cup. I'm sorry, but no world-class player is going to stay at a club because they've won the Carabao Cup this season.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not even a trophy worth bragging about, is it? I mean, Birmingham fucking won it a few years ago.
I mean, the FA Cup is different. There's a bit more.
Yeah, the FA Cup is prestigious. It's been there for ages. The Carabao Cup is like big teams play their fucking kids in it. They don't treat it seriously. So why would you treat it as a serious trophy you've won? I mean, I understand it goes down as a major trophy because it does. It goes down on like
who they got in the final?
The leaderboards.
Man City. Yeah.
Well, they're not going to win it then, are they?
Yeah, but you never know because Jose Mourinho has this knack of pulling out managerial masterclasses every now and then.
But that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, you literally have a world-class manager and people are like, "Oh, Mourinho needs to go in that," and I'm like, I understand where you're coming from, but you need to be humble about your squad. You really do. Like, you have a world-class striker, your best midfielder left, because he did. Eriksen threw his dummies out the pram and left because he fell out with Pochettino and Vertonghen was shagging his other half. So it was like, I want to leave. So then you lost your best centre-back pairing in Vertonghen in that same season anyway. So you lose your best centre-back pairing, you lose your most creative, most effective midfielder, and you keep Kane. You need to be more humble about your squad. Davinson Sanchez is not the world-class centre-back you fought and bought. Like, he's not. Yeah. You bought Aurier to replace Trippier. He's nowhere near that class.
No.
Ben Davies ain't that good. Reguilon's had his first full season in the Premier League. You know what I mean? He's like...
He's been one of the bright sparks.
He has been one of the bright sparks, but he's He's brand new, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's working hard on it.
Bale is literally just collecting a paycheck. And
then you got the front four. Bale's already said he's leaving.
Yeah, he's using it as he's not even using it as a pure gym, bro. He's using it as a JD gym. You know what I'm saying? He's not even paying full price for the shit.
Yeah.
So, like, Bale's using you as a fitness school. You got Son, if he ain't kicking, then it's over. Mora's found a new position in attacking midfield. Lamella comes on and gets himself sent off, and Kane is the only bright spark in the
I know
squad.
Son's been assisting this season, but he ain't been the usual stuff like he was last season. Last season he was firing on all cylinders, and he was literally the main talisman of Harry Kane.
You got a brand new midfield partnership that isn't gelled yet. You got Ndombele and Højbjerg that have their moments of class when they work together, but they haven't had that time to gel together properly because Ndombele was unhappy being not played and everything. Now he start being played and showing his class. Højbjerg's brand new to Spurs. They've only just bought him. Like, you've got a midfield partnership that don't understand each other, that haven't played with each other before, so you're going to struggle. A defence that's in tatters, a goalkeeper that's aging. You got a front four that one of them's only there for a paycheck, like we said. It's just, you just got to understand how humble you got to be about your squad and where it is at the minute. Mourinho can be the best manager he ever be, but there's only so much he can do.
Yeah.
To bring it back full circle to the Newcastle game, because we've just gone off and talked about Tottenham. Newcastle were very good in this game. They deserve a win, which is very rare for me to say, because I have every episode we talk about
Newcastle, yeah.
How absolutely awful they are, and they have been, and they deserve They deserve to win against Spurs.
Again,
I haven't watched the game, so I don't know if it was a case of Newcastle being amazing or Spurs being bad, but I don't want to take away from either team.
Yeah, I think
it was both of them, because basically Spurs could have made it 3 and Newcastle could have made it 3.
Yeah,
and it was just that crazy.
I'm going to put it in the way that I put it when we drew to Chelsea. It's a point gained because it's still a big six quotation marks big six club. But still, you was in the lead. It's 2 points dropped still.
Like, the only reason I know Newcastle should have won the game is because, you know, I've seen things online from a couple of Newcastle fans saying they should have won it, and obviously that like magic stat that everyone talks about, XG.
Yeah.
Newcastle's XG was like 4.
Yeah, the most I've ever had all season.
Unreal for a game that you haven't won.
Yeah.
Like,
it's Brighton kind of territory.
Which goes to show how much they need Callum Wilson back. I'm sorry.
He ain't staying. If Newcastle get relegated.
A good question to ask you before we move on is, if Callum Wilson was there, do you think they'd even be near the relegation battle?
He's too good.
No.
He's too good.
He's a quality striker. He's a good goal poacher. He knows where the goal is, though. So.
I don't understand how he keeps playing for these sides that are just bottom of the table. He's just too good. He might be old. He can get injured, but when he's fit and firing, he's unreal.
Yeah, he's got the extra yard on the defender all the time.
And he's strong. The man is strong. For a little guy, he is strong.
Anyway, yeah, next game. Aston Villa versus Fulham. What an interesting game that was.
Shall we point it out?
I haven't watched this game at all.
Because me and Dal are in agreement about this. Not a penalty.
Yeah, it was not a penalty.
I haven't seen any.
Get over yourself. He won the ball. He fell over when he won the ball. Not a penalty. No shot. Hands down, not a penalty.
Yeah,
VAR got it bang on.
I agree. Got the ball fair and square. Got the ball fair and square. Mings had a terrible error, which makes me think Gareth Southgate in the back of his mind thinking, if he's doing that against Fulham, what's he going to do against France?
Bro, you've got to swap him out for Konsa. You've got to. Ezri Konsa is actually really good. Watching him against Fulham, he made no mistakes. He had no issues marking. He mopped up a lot. He did really well. He covered a lot of space. He even protected Mings when Mings made another mistake later on in the game. And I'm like, you've got to take him now. Like, you know what I mean.
He won't though. You know.
He won't 100%. He'll still take Mings, and fortunately for Mings, he's got his foot. Once you get your foot in the door with England, it's really hard to get out, to be dropped. Especially if you've been taken to a championship of like the Euros or the World Cup or anything, it's really hard to be bumped out. Once you're in, you're in. It's a click, and you only get changed out for like friendlies and that to test somebody else.
So I think about it, like, remember how long we were pandering for Grealish to get in,
and
how long it took him to actually get into the squad. When he was clearly at the time when he was like performing the season, the best player for England that we had.
100%. He would have provided so much for England, and he did. I mean,
and Gareth Southgate never.
Oh my God!
At the games he played in, he was absolutely game changing.
Yeah. How can you ignore a player against Belgium when we're playing so bad that goes, Alderweireld, eat shit, son, eat this flick, and flicked it over him, bro. Like, we're actually performing like ass, and Grealish still goes and does that to a defender and creates an opportunity, and you're like, you can't ignore him. Like, you fully cannot ignore him.
We'll move on in a sec, because so we can like streamline time, but like it's when we talk about Albion staying up, like the results this weekend have been very kind to you. Because Fulham were 1-0 up in this game.
Oh, yeah. But Spurs had one job as well. Spurs had one job.
Yeah. But as you said, Newcastle should have won, so it could have been a lot worse.
Should have won, but on paper, they definitely shouldn't have won. But to be fair, it's the same with us. We definitely should have won against Chelsea, and
exactly.
We just put them in a performance, and it's like, you know what I mean?
To be fair, like Trezeguet came on off the bench and made a game.
Instant impact.
Yeah. Scored 2 goals in 3 minutes. Could have got a third as well.
He definitely should have had a third. Yeah. That's what I mean. He come on and changed the game, and if I was Dean Smith,
also Watkins as well. Watkins scored his first goal in 8 games.
He's still consistent though. I still think Ollie Watkins is really consistent. I think.
You got a soft spot from now because of Football Manager.
Maybe, but no, it's not even that, bro. Like,
top scorer.
But I've always had a soft spot. Even when he was at Brentford, he like shone a little bit and that. And like when Villa had him, I was kind of fuming because we were kind of looking at him a little bit, and it kind of done my head in. But it's a smart bit of business, and he does play really well and on a consistent basis. Even when he doesn't score, he still works hard. He works as hard as when he is scoring. He creates a space as when he's scoring. But the ironic thing is, hasn't scored in 8, and that's just purely because Grealish ain't in the team. Grealish creates so much for that team. So much. I agree. And that's why Ollie Watkins just ain't scoring. Everybody's scared. If I was a defender personally, I'd be terrified. Even if I was one of the best fullbacks or the best centre-backs in the world, I'd be terrified to play against
but Ollie
Grealish.
Watkins and Jack Grealish sat down Van Dijk like there was nothing.
Exactly. He's one of the best, like one of the best, if not the best centre-backs in the world, and they bullied him. And it's one of them, like, you are... Anybody playing against Grealish, even if you're the best, you still... You've got to work so hard, because I'd be terrified to play against him. And I'm sorry, Villa fans, I'm really sorry about this. He is not staying. He can sign all the contracts he wants. It's just boosting his price for when he gets sold.
No,
it's a reality.
In the Premier League, he'll stay, in my opinion. As long as Villa are in the Premier League, he'll stay. He has no reason to go. The club he loves.
I know, but Albion's a club I love. And
I mean, the season Villa are having, I think he'll love and he'll be proud of the achievement they're having. I mean, there's still a chance they could get Europe, but it's looking bleak with every game that passes by. But there's still a chance they could still get Europe.
At the moment, he's still coming into his prime. He has no reason to leave yet.
I understand that, but when let's say all of a sudden, like, Man City come sniffing, United come sniffing, Liverpool sniffing about Real Madrid, Barcelona.
Yeah, but they've been sniffing about it for the last 3-4 years.
I mean, Man United have been sniffing around him for ages, but like, there's no real.
So Tottenham should have.
That's what I mean.
Man United are too scared to open up their wallets because the Glazers are like,
dismiss Spurs.
Nah,
we'll dismiss Spurs because
I
wouldn't leave Villa for Spurs at the minute. It just wouldn't happen because you're not guaranteed game time. Yeah, but like.
You're a bit quiet, Alex, by the way. You're a bit quiet.
It's because I'm far away from the mic.
And
bring it a bit closer.
But if...
This is better.
Yeah.
So Man U are going to get top 4. That seems nailed on. And like your Man City are going to win the league, and you've got your Atletico Madrid's, Barcelona's, and Real Madrid's, and that, like Bayern Munich, like any of them come sniffing about, you have really got to sit there as a player and go, I love this club, but, and it is, I mean, let's put it this way. Okay, I understand what you're saying is Grealish will stay, but let's put it this way. Villa were in Europe, and Man City come and took Milner and Barry away from them. Ashley Young went to Man U. Ashley Young was a Villa boy. Gareth Barry was a Villa boy. Milner, Villa boy. They all were Villa boys. But when those
Milner was not a Villa boy. Milner started at Leeds.
I know, but
Newcastle.
Who
is that Villa boy? Then he joined Man City.
Louis Barry.
Was it Delph?
Oh, Delph, massive Villa. Those big teams come sniffing, bro. You look at yourself and go...
It was different back in those days because that was when there was no financial fair play and Man City could just throw money at people. Whereas nowadays, every team in the Premier League can throw money at people. You're in the Premier League for 2 or 3 years, you're fucking set for life. There's tons of money.
Yeah. I fully understand that. I 100% understand that, and I get the way.
Let's move on because we're talking a lot.
But I just want to finish it though. But I fully understand that. But even so, even if Villa did chuck money at people, there's the financial fair play aspect of it, and I still think those big boys come sniffing. You've got to start looking over your shoulder and being like, I love this club, and I respect what they're doing, but there's champions over there. There's Champions League over there. There's titles over there. There's cups over there.
Your shirt number.
Huh?
Retire the shirt number. He's on a bit better.
Yeah. Play 40 games or it's
stupid.
Move on to the next game because I do want to quickly just gloss over Bellingham. Just move on to the next game.
So Villa, that was a good result for Villa, a 3-1 victory over Fulham. Pushes their chances for Europe next season, hopefully. Next game, Manchester United Brighton. I can quickly gloss over this in 2 minutes.
Go on then, take it away now.
So, B-Tech Danny Welbeck, even though he you know what I mean, B-Tech Danny Welbeck scored. Even though he is Danny Welbeck, but he's still B-Tech Danny Welbeck. He's gone a B-Tech version of himself. That's how much he's degraded. Still managed to score against his old club. It was poor. The first initial save was it was good from Henderson, but it wasn't good enough to put it away from Danny Welbeck's path. And I feel like Henderson probably could have maybe kicked it better, pushed it better.
Don't even start. There's no chance to do anything.
I think if that was the Gea,
it's a header from 2 yards out where he has nothing else to do. He's kept it out of the net from 2 yards out. There's nothing else he can do. De Gea would have done exactly the same thing.
No, it was a bit further than 2 yards because he got even closer for the second one. But De Gea would have literally with his legs would have hoofed it a bit further or a bit more wider. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
That, though.
No, because I've seen De Gea actually save shots like that in the past.
It ain't gonna happen.
That's
There's
your
nothing else
opinion,
Henderson
and my
can do there.
opinion.
I do agree with Alex on this one. I don't think Henderson could do anything more. Personally,
there's nothing else he can do.
I think if De Gea was there, it would not have been a goal. But it doesn't matter because they scored anyway. B-Tech Danny Welbeck scored. He celebrated. I'd smash his head in if I see him in the street. Anywho, it was woeful in the first half. No, I didn't celebrate.
No, wouldn't you celebrate if you were Danny Welbeck?
No, not against.
This club flogged you off to Arsenal for cheap and chips fucking a few years ago.
Don't matter. Literally, that club gave you a platform. That club gave you a platform. That club gave you a name. You know,
and then stopped playing.
And then lost faith in you. I went, fuck off, mate.
It could be shit. Anyway.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's not my fault. He's shit. He should have played better. Anyway. Yeah, so it was woeful in the first half. We turned it on in the second half. Rashford got a goal. It was a Bruno assist, and Greenwood got a goal, Pogba assist, and yeah, that was the game, really. I also put down Defo. Oh yeah, Brighton should have had a penalty, in my opinion. Harry Maguire is dragging the shirt and dragging him back.
I've seen it. Yeah, 100%, man.
I don't know how we got away with that one. VAR was on our side. That should have been a penalty. It was Maguire was behind him. But to be fair, if Welbeck stayed on his feet,
that's where the Glazers' money's going.
VAR? What a surprise! VAR's favourite in Man U.
But if Welbeck didn't actually dive to the floor and actually just decided to stay on his feet, and I was looking for the penalty, he probably would have got a tapping.
Yeah, he probably would have scored. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but obviously he was looking for the penalty. Didn't get it. Should have been a penalty. There we go. Game done dusted.
To be fair, if you're Welbeck though, do you want a penalty?
No.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're Brighton, do you want a penalty? I'm looking at all you Brighton fans in the face who are listening to this, right? Would you have a penalty right now? Yeah, I mean, you had 2 against us.
No. West Brom, yeah. No. Anyway, moving on to the next game, which is Everton and Crystal Palace. 1-1 draw, fair game. James Rodriguez back in the team, scoring a goal.
Of course, my baby. My baby.
Literally the boy. He's now involved in. He's like one of 5 Colombians in the Premier League with 10 goal involvement. So, kudos to him. So, I don't have much to say on the game. Batshuayi got a late equaliser.
I will say there is one point I want to say is the commentator was talking about Batshuayi as he was coming on, and he was like, Batshuayi's come out and said, they don't trust me, they don't feel like I can be a striker or anything. And the commentator was like, yeah, but I agree, you haven't really been scoring or anything like that. Like, he needs to repay his trust. Instantly goes and scores. And the commentator was like, well, he's repaying his trust now.
It's so frustrating because Batshuayi is so good.
Yeah,
I
feel sorry
for
him.
Us guys in this group have rated Batshuayi for years before he even went to Chelsea.
When he was at Marseille, bro.
Before he was a victim of being thrown out on loan everywhere.
Because he was a kid.
He's like, the fact that he doesn't even get that much game time and still plays for Belgium regularly.
It just
shows.
They know. And I feel sorry for the kid.
He's such a good player.
I mean,
and he fucking showed it. He was given 5 minutes against Everton, and fucking the finish is awesome. If you watched it,
on his weak foot, awesome. On his weak foot as well.
Weaker foot, right in the fucking corner. It was so good.
Because he come on. They passed him
to be at fucking Chelsea.
Yeah, he come on because I remember he come on and the commentator berated him in the commentary for his first touch. And it was his literally not even like his first touch after, like his first touch after coming on.
Because about 2 years before, a couple of minutes before, there was a pass that was played through to him, and it was a phenomenal pass, but like he messed up, couldn't control it.
But it was like his first touch. Yeah, but like it was his first touch in the actual game, and he was like, his first touch is bad, and I'm like, yeah, the Donny hasn't touched the ball yet. Jesus Christ!
So was Lukaku's, but he still scored 20 a season, didn't he?
But that's what I mean. Like he was like, his first touch, but like it's not his first touch. It was the fact that it was his first touch of the ball in that game, and you're like, yeah. Let him get a feel for the ball. The first touch he's going to take in the game is a touch where he has to put it in his path to score. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of pressure. Like, give the Donny another chance. And then, ironically enough, gave him another chance. First touch was perfect. Straight on his left foot, bang. And
Rodriguez goal in the entire game. All right.
It was a lovely match as well.
Yeah.
I will say.
So, when Batshuayi had done for a little bit, not even massively, for a little bit, and that's obviously where I watched the most of him. He was awesome, just playing, man. And if you're Crystal Palace and you normally play a 4-4-2, which is what Roy Hodgson fucking does at Palace, and you've got Ayew, Benteke, and Batshuayi to choose from as your strikers. Why is Batshuayi not the first one out of those 3 on the sheet?
It's got to be Batshuayi and Benteke in it up front.
Ayew. I wouldn't even pick Benteke. I'd pick Batshuayi and Ayew.
Yeah, but Benteke is he does offer that aerial threat, and he can nab a goal here and there, and he has been proven. He ain't consistent, but in certain games where you want him, it depends on the team who's not really good in the air.
That's fair, but even then, when you have Jordan Ayew and Batshuayi, it's unfair. It's exactly what you said. Like, they don't show faith in him. When you have those two there, Jordan Ayew, yes, he's all right and he gets goals, but Batshuayi is an international footballer for Belgium, the best team in the world. Second best team in the world.
I mean, we all know why now Dortmund didn't sign him, because they've got Haaland up front. But at the time, I couldn't understand why they didn't sign him when he was on loan and he was killing it, and he got team of the season cards, team of the week cards, like hero cards. It was smack. And all the Dortmund fans, I saw it on Twitter, were like, "Please stay, literally, please. We beg, you stay. You're so good." And I'm like, but they didn't sign him
because they didn't offer Chelsea the money,
and Chelsea want 50 million for him, and it's like,
because Chelsea's way of buying and selling players has always been criticised because it's awful.
Businessman way, isn't it? Buy for cheap,
awful.
sell for more.
Just buy anyone and shift them out to fucking Vitesse in Netherlands every single year. Even Mason Mount went to Vitesse, which I didn't even know.
Bro, Isaiah Brown went to Vitesse.
Yeah, I just grow up, man.
Literally.
Just
have that many players out on loan lists. They could literally create a brand new team and just
you know they've
awesome
said
as well. That's the thing.
You know they said they'd the 1 year, like not like recently, but the 1 year when they were going on about all their loan players and everything, they were going to question whether they could make a Chelsea B team. You know, Barcelona have Barcelona B in La Liga Segunda or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
They were literally questioning whether they could put a Chelsea B in League One or the Championship or League Two.
That was a thing for every Premier League team. And all the Football League rightly said no.
Yeah,
I agree.
So all the Premier League teams wanted their under-23 teams to be put into the Football League, and the Championship, the League One, League Two teams voted and said no, fuck off.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's fair.
I think it'd be fair.
It would literally just be cancerous. It'd be so cancerous.
It wouldn't be fair at all.
It wouldn't be fair at all. And the only way I could see it even being remotely fair is if you extend the Football League and just make another league.
That's the planning. They had a massive set plan for it and everything.
So you have League One, League Two, League Three, and the Championship, and everybody can mix in with everyone.
I think it would have been. They would have kept it as the 3 leagues. I can't remember it off the top of my head because it was a few years ago now. But I think it would have just been more teams in each league.
Fucking. That's
right,
ridiculous.
Let's move on to the last game of the weekend, shall we? And it was a good game indeed. West Ham versus Wolves.
Can we just talk about Lingard? What on earth is going on with this young prospect? He is unreal on loan from Man U.
One thing I want to say was Wolves' defense for its goal was atrocious.
Yeah, awful, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you can't take away the run from Antonio.
Oh no!
I'm not saying like it was a bad goal. I'm just saying the defense were at 6s and 7s for no reason.
All over the gap.
Like, I know we were talking about our Euro squad and we said that Connor Code doesn't get in, but it shows.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't get in.
He can only play in that 3 at the back system with Wolves because that's where he performs well. And they played 4 at the back against West Ham, and we saw how awful they were.
Bullied. Yeah. Got absolutely bullied.
Yeah,
but also, West Ham almost fucking bottled it again.
Yeah.
As soon as Wolves got that one goal back before half time, I immediately thought to myself, this could happen again with the Arsenal game.
Yeah.
And also, Adama Traore has an assist.
I know.
It's over.
Ironically enough, I said this.
In 29 games, he's done something.
I said this to Dale when it happened. I said that Donny has put those kind of crosses in all season, bro. Those crosses have been delivered week in, week out by Traore, and it's took him this long to know where to be. And it weren't even the striker; it was Dendoncker.
Yeah.
Bro, are you telling me that he's been delivering those kind of balls, and a CDM has had to come and header that in? William Jose is
playing centre back.
Exactly, bro. It was in open play. That's what I mean. Your centre back yeeted himself up front because he knew where the ball was going to be.
Well,
William Jose does not know where to be, and that signing was a panic signing because Raul Jimenez got injured. They really should have invested in somebody who could do a proper replacement job.
Obviously,
but who do you bought in that situation?
I probably would have bought in like your Callum Wilson in or
Portuguese.
Or Brazilian.
Yeah.
But Fred. I'd bring Fred. Not the midfielder Fred. You know, the striker Fred. You know, that waste of space that they used to put up front for Brazil.
Mate, he's like 39 years old. That wouldn't have even been a smart piece of business. But William Jose.
But back to Lingard for a sec. So obviously in 8 matches, he scored 6 goals and 3 assists. And he's got 9 goal contributions since the 3rd of Feb. And the only other player to be in the same as that is, never guess who, Harry Kane.
Funny though.
So,
like, if Lingard continues this form,
is this why he said it? So you could say Lingard is world class. Is that why he said it?
No, I'm not saying Lingard. The way he's performing,
he's world class.
He's world class, but he's not world class.
He's not. The thing is, he performs like this. You're Gareth Southgate. You're like, who the fuck do I drop?
Obviously, the differences between the differences between your De Bruyne and Kane. They're both world class because they've done it for years.
Mm.
Lingard's only done this for.
Ollie must be kicking himself. He's got to be. He's got to be kicking himself.
Not even that. Like, if you were in Ollie's situation, you'd done exactly the same thing.
Oh yeah,
he wasn't performing for Man United.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And he wasn't getting in that team over the midfield for all they had.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm not disputing that they didn't make the right decision in getting rid of him, like selling him out on loan. But at the same time, you'd be sitting there and going, Lingard, you're taking the piss.
He literally has he has like a free roam role.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants.
In West Ham, yeah.
And you know what that is?
He'll come on the right, he'll come on the left, he'll go in the centre, he'll do whatever.
I will say, like, obviously his goal was incredible, but oh my god, the
McGeady spin.
It was the Berber spin. It wasn't the McGeady spin, but
yeah.
the Berber spin. But it was so much harder because it was bouncing.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
I don't know how he did it.
But you know what?
I ain't gonna do shit. I can't even touch a ball.
You know what? Has really struck a chord with me is remember when Lingard was performing really well for Man U? Yeah. Who was in charge?
Mourinho.
No. David Moyes was in charge. And
no, it wasn't.
No.
He was still performing pretty well though. That's what I mean.
Lingard wasn't even in the team when David Moyes was the manager.
He wasn't in the team, bro.
Van Gaal gave him his debut.
Was it Van Gaal?
Yeah.
I thought it was David Moyes because I thought he was around the same time that they were playing Januzaj.
Lingard played well with Mourinho.
Yeah,
because that was the year he played really well before the World Cup.
I'm literally thinking I'm mashing a bit of generations up. I thought Januzaj and Lingard played around the same time, and that's why they played so well. Okay, ignore me. But for some reason, David Moyes knows exactly how to play him. But Lingard and David Moyes have linked up really well. But I do like, in the midfield, I do like the dynamic. I think it really works well with West Ham.
They had no Declan Rice as well, and they still managed to like...
Mark Noble.
That was impressive. I would say that was impressive.
Mark Noble for like a 5-year-old Donny is like... He might not have the legs, but he still has the heart desire and the effort, man.
Here's a quick interesting fact as well. So the last 67 games, Declan Rice has played every game in every minute for West Ham. 67 games.
Yeah. I remember when he wasn't playing, I was so surprised.
His legs
He's injured, his legs
there's a possibility he could be injured for the Euros. We don't know yet.
I hope not, because he's a quality player.
Imagine.
This season has been phenomenal.
Imagine Antonio plays really well. Really well, gets injured, comes off for Bowen. Bowen scores immediately.
Bowen's the boy.
To be fair, it was a great assist as well from Lingard. He had 5 men around him, and he managed to get a pass off.
Is the boy? That's all I'm saying.
Bowen is so good, and
for me, I thought it was poor keeping from
Patricio.
I haven't seen the goals. I just like Bowen.
So from Patricio, because so this is what happens. Also, obviously, it was near post. And literally, he's just hit it. Bowen's just hit it with power, and it's just gone in off the post. But Patricio was already at the near post anyway. It had like he had to move over. He was already there. He just didn't save it. So you'll have to go back.
I'll have a look at it at some point, and I'll come back and argue this point.
Okay,
I think
that's what I do apparently.
I think the Pablo Fornal's goal was lovely.
Oh yeah, the way he just opened himself up, and he just many players would hit that with their left foot and just hack it. But he's literally opened himself up and hit it.
You know that's a harder finish as well, to open your body up like that and put it in the other corner. That's such a physically harder finish. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a seriously hard finish.
And it all came from Lingard doing his Berber spin.
Lingard is just influential in that West Ham team, and
Lingard obviously assisted for Bowen.
I think if you're Lingard, you've got to seriously look at whether you want to move there or not. You might.
The thing is, if West Ham get Champions League,
If I were Lingard, I'd go straight away.
Yeah, if West Ham gets Champions League, I'd go with West Ham and build on what they have.
Okay, but if West Ham don't get Champions League, would you not stay with them and still build?
But they get Europe, so they'll still be in Europe.
Exactly my point. So why would
the Champions League is better?
Well, West Ham are sniffing around Sam Johnston, so they're going to get a nice youngish goalkeeper to replace Fabianski.
Because Fabianski's old. They needed another striker because Antonio is good, but he's not a consistent goal scorer. They need to look abroad and find a consistent goal scorer.
He gets injured a lot as well, as Dal well knows.
Oh yeah,
doesn't get injured that much in real life though.
Yeah,
but he's injured now.
But like, yeah, I think the game was such an entertaining game, and Neto missed a really good opportunity as well, and I don't know what it is when Neto or Podence ain't really firing for Wolves, they seem to be struggling. Like Neto was kind of the saviour when Traore weren't really firing on all cylinders, but now that Traore and Neto aren't firing on all cylinders, there's still nobody that can make that can cover up that dip in form.
So obviously, I'm going to quickly change the subject now. Obviously, West Ham had a great win because we're going to be wrapping this up soon.
Yeah.
So West Ham went to 4th place, 1 point above Chelsea with that win over Wolves. So I'll just read it at the top. Read it at the top 8. I'll exclude Aston Villa because Aston Villa, I think, aren't going to get that bit close enough for Champions League. So Man City going to win the title, 74 points. Man United 2nd with 60. Leicester 3rd with 56. West Ham 4th with 52. Chelsea 5th with 51. Spurs 6th with 49. Liverpool 7th with 49. And Everton 8th with 47. But a game in hand on all of them. And 2 games on the City. But forget about City because City have got to top 4 and win in the league anyway. Do you see Everton getting in the top 4, yes or no? With a game in hand. If they win their game in hand, they're a point behind Chelsea and 2 points behind West Ham.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Honestly, I can't call it. I can't.
Yeah, I can't call it.
Because Everton are so hot and cold. I don't know what's wrong with them. With a manager like Ancelotti, but to be fair, you can see he's going to build. Like, he's building something.
Oh, with their new stadium that's been approved and which will eventually be built, their buildings are massive at the club.
Yeah. Fun fact, Jim put Everton in his top 4, so seeing him say no is shocking.
Just when we asked the question the first time, they were on fire. They were doing quite well.
They were. They're actually more on form now.
Yeah, no, they're more on form. But like on the recent form, I thought they'd literally be like. I thought Ancelotti would start going around the changing room, clapping them all up and being like, "What you doing?" But
well, obviously, out of the top 8, Everton have the worst goal difference as well. They've got 3, just +3.
That's what I mean. Whereas like, I don't think they'll make top 4. I think the top 4 is kind of set. I don't know.
I think 4th position is up for grabs between Liverpool and West Ham. So Chelsea. West Ham, Chelsea, Spurs, and Liverpool because Spurs are got the best goal difference out of all of them.
Yeah.
So if it comes down to goal difference, because that's why Spurs are above Liverpool. But if Liverpool keep winning 3-0s, 4-0s, and 4-1s, like they will do towards the end of the season, they'll go above Spurs. But at the minute, they're on the same points, and obviously Spurs are above them on goal difference. But if Spurs
you've got to ask as well. Sorry, I'm far away again. The question you're going to ask as well is Leicester.
Well, Leicester
are the ones that are in 3rd place. They're the ones that are in 3rd place and they look comfortable, but it's not.
Oh yeah, it's not fully comfortable, but I think the
in 3 games, if they don't win the next 3 games, and let's say they get a point out the next 3, they got 57, and every single one of them pick up points. They're literally 7th or 8th.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So they're not set.
Like, I just don't see them dropping that many points. If I'm honest,
obviously Manchester United aren't 100% set, but if this Manchester United win the next 2 games, I think 66 points, they're 100% in top 4.
I think Leicester have a not an easy run, but they have a nicer run than we imagine, and I do think
they don't.
No, I think.
So Leicester's next game is West Ham.
Yeah.
Tough game.
West Brom.
Yeah, easy game.
Then Crystal Palace, which aren't an easy game. Then Southampton, which aren't an easy game. Then Newcastle, which should be an easy game. Then United, Chelsea, and Spurs.
I think, to be honest, I think they've got too much about them to not really lose against Southampton or Newcastle. And I think if Lingard is on an absolute belter again, it'll be a difficult game against West Ham. But again, I just think maybe they might have too much for West Ham. I think around around the squad, I think Leicester have too much for West Ham. We've seen West Ham capitulate, and
but you talk about around the squad though. But you talk about around the squad. Half their squad's injured. Their main players, Madison's not there, Barnes isn't there, Evans is there. Well, Evans is there now, but
I know
Vardy's not firing.
Madison's back now because he came on as a sub against Man City. But
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
so
I don't see him starting.
I don't see him starting either. But I think to be frank, like, I just think they might just have a bit too much for me against West Ham to pipe it. And I think with the Southampton, I think they'll win. Newcastle, they'll win. They'll beat us. And who was the other one? Sorry,
we got Man United.
Crystal Palace is the other one.
I think out of those are 4 nailed on wins for me. I think they'll just
okay. Like, it comes down to the last 3 games of the season, and we're in the exact same points position we are in now, where they're about 4 or 5 points ahead. It's Chelsea, Man United, and Spurs. They lose all 3 of those games, they're at the top 4.
Yeah,
I know that. I know that, but that's banking on. That's also banking on West Ham, Chelsea, Spurs, and Liverpool all winning. Yeah. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. They're kind of set because they've got 4.
In that sense, you also bank on Leicester not losing against like your Palaces and your Southamptons.
Yeah,
which could happen because they're a good team.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, the season's a bit mad. Like, anybody can beat anyone, but theoretically, if we're going along the way of like talking about it, like, I think Leicester are kind of set. Just those 4 wins will probably settle them.
West Brom obviously beating Chelsea 5-2.
Yeah, that's a fluke.
Which
but goes to show that West Brom could turn them over.
Which hindered Chelsea's chance of staying in top 4 because West Ham capitalised.
But yeah, that's what I mean. And like, theoretically, you looked at the Wolves West Ham game, and you wouldn't say that West Ham would have rolled Wolves over like they did. Like, I wouldn't have said that. I would have said it was a lot closer game, and the scoreline said it was a lot closer game. But
if you watch the game, it was a close game. There was loads of shots.
Yeah, there was loads of shots for both teams, but
to be honest, if you talk about it, Wolves had 20 shots and West Ham had
9. Wolves weren't awful. Wolves were really good.
I know.
Yeah. It's that Wolves only had 5 shots. That was the difference.
But to say that Leicester are set or have enough, I don't think you can say that at all yet.
I don't even think
Manchester United last season as well.
I don't think even Manchester United are set. I don't think Manchester United are set as well.
The one thing I imagine is obviously again like last season, like Leicester were set in top 4. Leicester were going to finish second last season.
The only team you can say is top 4 at the minute is Man City.
I think Man United are more set purely because they've got a little bit more of a gap, but I agree that they're not safe.
We have a 9-point gap between Chelsea.
Yeah, I agree, you're not safe because Man United are so inconsistent, but I don't see them losing games. Whereas I can see Leicester losing games.
I think obviously the difference is Man United can scrape it.
When it comes to crunch time. When it comes to crunch time, I can see Man U irking out draws when they need it. I don't see Leicester doing that at the moment. I'd love them to prove me wrong, as I always do. I'd love the top 4 to be Leicester and West Ham.
Just because. Me too, actually, yeah. I'd love that as well.
But
for me,
I just can't see it happening.
But for me though, I can't see Chelsea doing that, and I can't see Spurs doing that.
I can. Chelsea were unbeaten in like 15, 16 games until you beat them.
Yeah, but you weren't like...
And they went in the Champions League and beat Porto 2-0.
Yeah, so like they've obviously beaten Porto 2-0 and they're doing well in the Champions League, but like in the league itself, they've crawled back like to where they, let's say, should be. But it's not like it's been devastating. It's not like they've gone on a mad winning run.
But the point I'm making is they've only lost 1 game.
Yeah,
that's the point I'm making. I see Leicester losing games. I don't see Chelsea losing that many games.
Obviously, take it away. Chelsea didn't concede a goal at Stamford Bridge in 7 games under Tuchel until obviously West Brom went, oh, you know what, we'll have a field day, you know what I mean?
The way I see it at the moment is, genuinely, Chelsea have a better chance of finishing top 4 than Leicester.
On form wise and everything like that, yeah. But I still think
I'm not going about form wise. I'm going about everything.
Okay,
I'm about everything. Like
everything.
Forget form out the window. I genuinely see Leicester losing more games than Chelsea.
Yeah, but I also then see West Ham losing more games than Leicester. So
but
Leicester
then you've got the likes of then you got the likes of like Liverpool,
Spurs,
who are winning again.
Yeah, but I still think that they can capitulate. Everybody can fold over in every sense. Like we've seen that everybody's been whack except for Man City. Even like the nailed on, like you said, Spurs were top of the league at the start of the season. Everton was second. Like they were sick, and then they've just turned whack, and it's the entire season.
And are you saying Leicester won't just turn whack?
But everybody can. That's what I'm saying.
Everybody can, but so can Leicester. So you can't sit here and say Leicester are safe.
So if everybody's whack, they still stay there.
But not everyone's going to be whack.
But
that's just not how it's going to work.
No, obviously, I'm gonna.
If 10 teams if 10 teams lose, 10 teams still win.
I'm gonna intervene here, and I see Jim's view, and I also see Alex's view. I'm on the fence because obviously Leicester have been performing really well this season. Obviously with Maddison back, and I think Maddison will start the next game. I don't know who their next game is. West Ham. I will think he will start that game because he's had a break. He come on as a sub. He had a few shots. He was trying to urge the team against Man City, but the damage is too done, and it was too late, and Man City just saw it at the game. I will think he will start, and obviously without Declan Rice, West Ham are vulnerable, and West Ham are vulnerable when they're in the lead. You know what I mean? We've seen that they could have easily dropped 2 points against Wolves, and they have dropped 2 points against Arsenal when there was 3-0 up there. So West Ham they're shaky at the back. They ain't convincing you that they're going to continue that. And obviously Chelsea, they've convinced us in all competitions except for obviously West Brom, like nearly 20 games that they've been unbeaten. And obviously that's probably just like a little blip in the system, and they've gone and beat Porto. So comfortably as well. Like it was a hard game. They comfortably beat Porto away from home.
Porto had nothing. Porto had absolutely nothing
away from home. So Chelsea, I think the real question is, I think Leicester will probably stay third. I think they ain't going to drop it this year. But it's for fourth place. Who's going to get fourth place? I think Leicester, they can lose a game, but I think they'll go and win the next game, or they'll draw the next game. But obviously, who knows, in the Premier League, Chelsea could actually just have a massive dip now. Like, they could be petrified. I ain't got a Scooby-Doo. Like we said, it's been a crazy season. Things have been swapping and changing. But Chelsea, I think they could get top four, but so could Liverpool. Has Liverpool and Chelsea got each other again? I don't know. I ain't got a Scooby-Doo. If they have, and if Liverpool win, Liverpool will go above them and by 1 point. And even though Liverpool are below them in the league, Liverpool would still be the favourites going into that game versus Chelsea, whether they be home or away. But I do think
I'd say Liverpool have a much easier running than Leicester.
Okay.
So Liverpool's running is Villa, then Leeds, then Newcastle, then United, and Southampton, West Brom, Burnley, and Crystal Palace.
Obviously, the first three you mentioned, Villa, Leeds, and United, those are all three tough games because Leeds can turn it on. They can
I know. But I don't. But at the same point, if we talk about in general, like if you were to put Leicester against those teams and Liverpool against those teams, in my mind, I can see Liverpool can get the results they need to. I can't see Leicester doing that. That's the point I'm making.
I do get what you mean, because the quality of players in Liverpool squad compared to Leicester squad, they're a different level. Like your Salah, your Mane, your Diego Jota. But obviously the weakness with Liverpool is their back.
When we talk about like the last three games, like Leicester's last three games, the Chelsea, United, and Spurs. Liverpool's the West Brom, Burnley, and Palace.
Yeah, which are all 100%.
There's no competition there.
Well, here's an interesting fixture then. So like we're talking about,
you know, Chelsea and Leicester could fuck each other up, and Liverpool could finish above them both.
So like
because they have to play each other.
Interesting enough, it actually gets even more interesting when you take into the fact that obviously Chelsea have got Crystal Palace next, then they've got to play Porto, then they've got to play Man City in the semi-finals, then they've got to play Brighton, and then that weekend that they're playing, so they play Brighton on the Tuesday, after the Saturday against Chelsea, after the Tuesday against Porto. So like they're playing tomorrow, and then Porto on Tuesday, then Saturday against Man City, tough game, then Tuesday against Brighton, then that Saturday, 4 days later, they play West Ham. That is one of the biggest games of the season for them.
But I don't see Chelsea losing it.
Yeah, but with the form that West Ham are in and the way they're playing,
how many weeks away is that West Ham game? Because
24th of April. So
if Declan Rice is back, before then, and the way Lingard's performing, it'd be a very interesting watch because
it's 2 weeks.
Tuchel's a very defensive-sided manager. It does obviously get the goal,
and then
he looks for the clean sheets and sees out the games.
And then Man City, they've got Man City again, and then Arsenal, and then obviously Leicester, second game from the season. So
obviously, I know Arsenal are a bag of scrap this season, but they can just literally one game.
Well, look what they did. Look what they did to Spurs. So like, you've got the game against West Ham, which is a 4-5 playoff. Like that is literally one of us is getting fourth. We've got to go for it. Then they've got to play Man City and try and get a result there. They want the league. They might want to break a record. You got Arsenal, which are fighting for pride.
Records to break, by the way.
I know, but they might want to do something. You never know with Man City. Be like, oh yeah, we'll score 11. You know what I mean? Then they've got to play Arsenal, who have got something to prove, who are fighting for like a bit of pride to show that they're not a shit anymore. And then they've got to play Leicester, who are in third, who are desperate to win and stay there. So that's 1, 2, 3 games that are nailed on, really hard games that are deciders. That obviously you don't. Yeah, you don't. You obviously never want to lose a game of football. That's. But when it's like you don't want to lose a game of football, like you don't want to lose. Like West Ham definitely. One, it's a London derby, so it's a London derby, and the added fact that it's a battle for 4th and 5th. It'll be a slog, man. And I reckon,
in my opinion, London derbies don't mean fuck all because there's like 15 of them every week.
Yeah,
in the Premier League.
But still, it's that whole like.
But the Arsenal, Chelsea, and
Man City, Chelsea.
That's a huge derby. The Arsenal, Chelsea, like that's a massive derby. And also, I think it's West Ham. Is it West Ham and Arsenal? Is it West Ham and Chelsea?
West Ham, Chelsea. West Ham, Chelsea, and then you got Leicester, Chelsea as well. So Chelsea have still got to play 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, which is going to be it's going to be an easy run. It's going to be interesting, and I can't wait to talk about it and delve into it. But one quick question then: so who's your team of the week? Because the last time we did one, we didn't talk about a team of the week.
Oh, so yeah, we forgot to do
who's your player of the week?
Player of the week. Yeah, talk about team.
That's
of the
it.
week.
Yeah, I meant to say player of the week. Who is your player of the week?
You go first, Dal. You never go first.
Yeah, actually.
Okay, for me, I'm going to say Lingard. I'm going to say Lingard.
I'm shocked.
Because he ran the show and he was involved in all 3 goals. He's the assist, and goal scorer.
You never guess what, no doubt. You never guess what.
What?
Mine's also Lingard, obviously.
There you go.
Obviously.
Can't believe he's picking Lingard over West Brom.
The player of the week was West Brom.
Well, not even that. Pereira got 2. Robinson got 2.
Yeah, like they. If I could have given them like time and that, I don't know. I would have thought about it, but Lingard's too good at the minute. Like single-handedly dragging a team. Like it was a very good team performance from West Brom. If we had a player of the week and the team of the week, it'd be Lingard, player. Obviously, he was very influential and he was very, very, very goddamn good. I don't know, just for me, Lingard takes it, and Pereira is very good, but it wasn't.
So this is what I said when you were gone. This is what I said when you were gone. So we talked the other week. We were talking about Iheanacho. He got a hat trick, and his performance was too good to ignore over everyone else's performances. Which is why I said you can't do the same thing this week for Pereira because he was too good to ignure.
It's probably because
West Ham performance was also too good to ignore.
I tell you what I'm doing. You know how I'm trying to be unbiased and not pick my own player, and that's what I'm trying to be. And I think, to be fair, Alex has said it right. I'm probably going to change now to Pereira because I think I'm just trying to play unbiased. That's all I'm trying to do. I don't want to pick my own player because it sounds biased, but as Alex said, he had put in such a good performance I can't ignore. So, yeah. Pereira.
On that shock, ladies and gentlemen. Alex
Seals the gym fucking siding with his own team.
Alex Seals out, sir.
Hang on, I'll write a goodbye message as well, as I did before. So thank you all for listening. As always, we are on all the socials apart from Instagram because we should see it, which is just the case. We haven't uploaded last week's YouTube because Jim hasn't done it, but we'll gloss over that.
What's up?
You haven't told us you did it.
I did. I said I've uploaded it. It just needs to do the description and title.
Yeah, you can do that. It's easy peasy.
But
anyway,
my English is crap.
And you think mine's any better?
I get it.
Okay, so looks like I'll do that then. Anyway, we'll speak to you next week. We have ideas and plans in store that we'll get out, and we're looking forward to it all. I'm tired. I've been awake for a long time.
It is 1:05 in the morning, to be fair.
I want to point out. I've been embracing my inner Conor Gallagher today with my headband on. I've come straight from hockey as well. Anyway, for the 4th time trying to do this, thank you all for listening, guys. We'll see you next time. And yeah, what I've got written down here was see you next time. In Dale's words, peace.
Peace.